It's surprisingly common to find anime parents who are absolutely terrible at parenting. Sometimes the parental figures are dead or just off on permanent overseas business trips. That said, there are some parents in our favorite anime shows who are just plain amazing. Parenting is no easy job, but these great moms and dads make it look easier than spotting the protagonist in an anime classroom. Some of them make huge sacrifices for their kids, while others are simply rocking the day-to-day grind of child-rearing. Good parents in anime are rare, so it's worth getting to know the ones who do exist. 15. Tozen Shimogamo from the eccentric family. Tozen Shimogamo of the eccentric family is the mother of 4 boys, 3 of whom are actually adult men when the series starts. Her strengths as a mother are many. She holds the family together after her husband dies, which is no easy task for anyone, let alone a person grieving for a loved one. Her boys have completely different personalities, and she respects all of them for who they are, deftly modifying her parenting practices to suit the occasion. She knows that what will work on the high-strung, neurotic Yukiro won't work on the fun-loving and slightly irresponsible Yasaburo. Tozen has been through a lot, but she never lets the pain of the past stop her from being an amazing mom. 14. Akira Mitsojis Mom from Yowamushi Pedal. If you've seen some of Yowamushi Pedal, but aren't yet in the 2nd season, it might be difficult to imagine that the creepy Mitsuji didn't spontaneously burst into existence. No, Mitsuji had a mother, and she was actually pretty incredible. Though she died of an unnamed disease before her son became a teenager, she did some top-notch mothering while she was alive. At the time, Mitsuji was being bullied in school. His mother was a source of light in what was otherwise a pretty dark life, though. Mitsuji actually says that her hospital room was the only place that he felt safe and happy. She not only complimented him, but did so genuinely, finding specific aspects like his unusual teeth that she liked. She was as loving and involved as she could possibly be while actively dying. 13. Yotaro Yurokudii from Showa Jinroku Rakugo Shinju. Showa Jinroku Rakugo Shinju features a character named Yotaro Yurokudii, and he's a great dad. While he doesn't become a biological father until the very end of the show, he takes full parental responsibility for young Shinosuke. Shinosuke's mother, Kanatsu, is the adopted daughter of Fukuhiko, Yotaro's teacher. While Kanatsu and Yotaro take an extremely long time to develop anything resembling a romantic relationship, Yotaro acts as Shinosuke's foster dad almost immediately. He does all the typical dad stuff, but he also helps teach the impressionable child, and even confronts the crime boss who might be the biological father. 12. Emi and Saimai Handa from Barakamon. Saimai Handa has some serious guts. When his son Saisha punches a powerful member of the calligraphy industry in the face for insulting his work, Saimai knows he needs to do something. His solution is a drastic and a difficult one. He sends Saisha off to the rural Goto Islands, where he can cool his head and do some self-reflection. Saisha's mom, Emi, is equally gutsy. She's adamantly against the idea, and does everything she can think of to get her son back to Tokyo. Both parents in Barakamon are invested in their kids' well-being, to the point where they're willing to go to drastic lengths to ensure it. Emi, in particular, is willing to re-examine her initial stance, and give her blessing when she realizes that life on the Goto Islands is actually better for Saisha than she thought it was. 11. Martha from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Martha, also known as one of the only decent parents in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, appears in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Martha lives on Satellite, a bomb-ravished dump where residents are constantly harassed by the police. While she doesn't have any biological children, she has more than enough adopted children to make up for it. With the help of fellow philanthropist Dr. Schmidt, Martha runs an orphanage for the parentless children of Satellite. She refers to all of them as her children, and it's obvious she means it by the way she chides Yusei for growing up without her permission, and teases him about having a crush on a girl. As Martha's kids become adults, we see that they've internalized her values. Yusei and Crow acquire their own small flocks of orphan children at a later point in the series. 10. Junko and Tamahisa Kaname from Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Junko and Tamahisa Kaname from Puella Magi Madoka Magica have some solid parenting skills, but what makes them truly special is actually their unusual family setup. In the Kaname family, Junko, Madoka's mother, is a high-ranking businesswoman, while her husband Tamahisa stays at home with the kids. Japanese women often leave the workforce when they become mothers, and they are much less likely than men to work in high-powered positions, so this role reversal is remarkable. Having a mother who has taken on so much responsibility is part of what encourages her daughter Madoka to take on other, more supernatural responsibilities of her own. 9. Yasuko Takasu from Toradora. Yasuko Takasu of Toradora is a single mother whose first appearance makes her seem irresponsible. She works an overnight shift as a hostess, so she's often seen sleeping, hungover, or drunk, while her son Ryuji does most of the housework in her stead. As the series progresses, though, we see that Yasuko is anything but irresponsible. She's a very young mother. Seriously, Ryuji was born when she was a teenager, who is working her butt off to not only put a roof over her kid's head, but also to send him to college. Despite Ryuji's willingness to get a job and help support the family, she insists that he concentrate on his studies so that he can have a life that will make him happy. 8. Hiroko and Toshi Akatsuki from Yuri on Ice. The Katsukis of Yuri on Ice are some of the chillest, nicest parents in recent anime history. Their son Yuri is a professional figure skater. When he has a disastrous professional year and comes home depressed, his parents are just happy to see him. They care about his results because they care about his happiness, and they're proud of his success, but they aren't ashamed of his failures. They extend the same relaxed attitude to their 30-year-old daughter, who seems content to stay at home and work for the family business. The Katsukis are good with whatever their kids want to do as long as it brings them joy. Also worth noting are the Leroys, another pair of awesome parents from the show. Unlike the Katsukis, the Leroys are heavily invested in son JJ's career. Not only are they former Olympic athletes themselves, they're also his coaches. Despite this, they're able to take off their coach hats and put on their parent hats when JJ has a panic attack in the middle of a competition. The Leroys focus on handling his emotional needs instead of the disappointment they were undoubtedly feeling. 7. Kyoko Honda from Fruits Basket. Because Fruits Basket opens just after Kyoko Honda's death, we never get to properly meet her. From the flashbacks, though, we learn that she's the MVP of anime moms. Kyoko was a gang member turned responsible mother. While her wilder tendencies followed her into adulthood, she had no expectation that her nervous, well-behaved, and deeply empathetic daughter Toru be like her. All she wants is for Toru to be herself. Kyoko raises Toru to be confident, decisive, and strong, while still retaining her gentleness. Not only is Kyoko an awesome mom to her own daughter, she's a surrogate mom to Toru's friends, Yuo and Hana. The lessons they learn from her help them with every problem they face after her death, particularly when they must deal with the deeply disturbed Soma family. 6. Inko Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Inko Midoriya, Izuku's mom from My Hero Academia, is a sweet, supportive mama who is there for her son no matter what. Izuku dreams of attending UA High and learning how to be a hero. Because he doesn't have a quirk or superpower, this goal seems almost tragically out of reach. When it seems like he'll have to give up, Midoriya grieves with him. When it seems like he has a chance after all, she's ecstatic and makes a superhero costume for him as a show of support and as an apology for doubting him before. Later, when life at UA High seems too dangerous, the protective mother protests his attendance, but is also willing to hear out alternate viewpoints on the issue. 5. Shikaku and Yoshino Nara from Naruto. The parents who usually get credit for being the best in the Naruto universe are the Uzumakis. While their sacrifice for their newborn son is laudable, they weren't actually around to parent him, so it's hard to give them a fair evaluation. That said, the Naras deserve a lot of credit. Shikamaru's parents, Yoshino and Shikaku, have one major goal for their son. They want him to stop being so lazy and actually live up to his incredible potential. Despite his lack of motivation, the kid has an IQ of over 200. A combination of non-nonsense lectures from his mom and empathy from his dad get the boy on the right track. Also, unlike the majority of anime dads, Shikako actually encourages his kid to be a feminist, calling him out when he complains about how annoying and dumb girls are. The Naras do the hard work required to turn their whiny lazy preteen into a smart, hardworking young man. 4. Akio and Sanai Furukawa from Clannad. Akio and Sanai Furukawa of Clannad are often cited as some of the best anime parents ever, and for good reason. When their daughter Nagisa feels guilty because her poor health forced her parents to give up their important careers. Not only do they obviously love their kid, they're also emotionally honest and open enough to have these kinds of conversations in the first place. Besides that, they take in Nagisa's boyfriend, Tomoya, when his own father proves less than ideal, thus extending their parenting skills beyond their own daughter. 3. Sachiko Fujinuma from Erased. Erased Sachiko Fujinuma says that her child is the most important thing in the world, and she proves it. She consistently shows her love for him through the minutiae of parenting, making meals, giving physical affection, dispensing general life advice, and more. She also shows it through some seriously huge gestures. When her child, Satoru, tries to save his friend from an abusive mother and a local serial killer, Sachiko is more than willing to help. When Satoru ends up in a coma after the aforementioned serial killer goes after him, his mom spends 4 hours a day strengthening his muscles to prepare for the day when he finally wakes up. The coma lasts for 15 years, but she never gives up no matter how hopeless things look. 2. Hannah from Wolf Children. Hannah from Wolf Children has some parenting challenges that most parents don't have. Not only is she raising 2 rambunctious little kids on her own, but her kids have a strange secret. Like their father, they can transform into wolves. Figuring out how to raise her kids properly requires a ton of research, and there are some thorny questions, like whether to take her kids to a pediatrician or a veterinarian when they get sick, but Hannah makes it work for the sake of her babies. 1. Mise Hughes from Fullmetal Alchemist, Brotherhood. Mise Hughes of Fullmetal Alchemist, Brotherhood is one of the most loving dads you'll find in an anime. He carries a picture of his daughter, Alicia, with him everywhere and brags about how cute she is to anyone who will listen. He consistently showers his little girl with affection, making her feel safe, loved, and happy in a dangerous world. His death partway through the series is all the more tragic, because Alicia is going to have to grow up without him.